Whoa, that's very bright. Okay, welcome to the live stream, everyone. Tonight it is Tuesday, the 5th of November, and every Tuesday night I give live streams for free. And you can join this. You can join this just by going to YouTube and go to my channel. Liji is the name of my channel, and if you are new here, then you can connect through Skype. You can talk with me live by using my Skype account, which is Liji Live, or you can write me to my email address ahead of the live stream or during the live stream, or also you can connect with me through the chat next to the live stream. So that's what it is practically. And I give these live streams already quite a long time, about 3 years or more. And if you want to know what's going on, next Thursday, I live in Holland. I live in Leiden, which is at the west of Holland. And I am now also giving meetings where I live. And this next Thursday, there's a meeting at 8:30 until 9:30. No, from 7:30 I think until 9:30. 2 hours, and you can join this. It's going to be in Dutch, unless there's people that speak English. Then it's going to be in English. Only then. So that's about the things that I wanted to share with you, what is going on. If you want to know more about what I do, or if you want to talk with me one-on-one, you can also check this out on my website, which is below all my videos. It's called liehogenberg.nl. Also, I'm saying this in English, but it's it's going to be for the people that don't understand Dutch, because I'm going to upload also some Dutch videos, because I noticed there's people that kind of makes sense when you're Dutch, that some information that is being spoken in a different language, which is not your mother language, like for me also, English isn't my mother language, but I really like it. Many times I have ideas or thoughts or anything that I write down, or even when I speak to myself, I speak in English sometimes. So English is very close to me, even though it's not my native language. And that doesn't mean that my English is perfect, not at all. And also not that I'm not speaking with a Dutch accent, because obviously I'm still Dutch. But so, just for the record, to let you know that I'm going to upload also some content in Dutch, so that you don't think like, oh yeah, Lee is now only busy with the Dutch group of people that find this interesting, but it's just to do it both, because I am living in Holland, so it is not a bad idea, I think. So tonight I will continue speaking about the body-mind dynamics, how we relate to our ideas and the reality that's actually going on. That's what I, in essence, mostly speak about. So if this is new to you, if you are here for the first time, it's a combination of our beautiful true nature, our true open nature, and also the conditioning we have, the things we have experienced, traumas, and how they affect our daily lives. And today, I'll speak about not being able to hold on to anything is your freedom, is actually your freedom. Maybe you notice that you have the tendency to hold on to things. And this usually just happens. It's just a mechanism that just happens to mostly anyone that takes life personal. It takes life personal, and that thinks that there is something outside of this moment. Like there's a past story about where you were, where you've been, or what has happened to you, and there's a future where you are going to and where you're going to get to. And this is mostly very confusing, because actually there is none of these things. There is not a past and there is not a future. These ideas about past and future are connected with thoughts and also sensations that rise in this very moment, right now, and that we give a certain value. Like we say, oh, this thought or the things that come up now with me, like for example, maybe you are meeting someone that you know from something from your childhood. So you're meeting someone from your childhood, and then in this meeting, the things that relate to that person or the experiences you've had are connected to the idea that there is a past. But that's just an idea. It's a concept. And that is the same with future ideas, because the things that might happen in another moment, we could call it another moment. Past and no, ideas are other moments that are not yet just here happening. They're rising as ideas, not as the past or future. They're only rising as the present. But the thing is, we suffer because we give it value. We say, like, I have to become in a certain way. In the future, I want to be like this. I want to do that. Or I will be more fulfilled, feel more satisfied with myself, more happy, more balanced when I will do this in the future. Or when I will let go of something that was in the past. But actually, the only thing that's really happening is that right now your thoughts rise and they go like waves in the ocean. And they are not personal. There's nothing personal about these waves, about these thoughts. They're just now appearing, and usually or sometimes there is a sensation connected to these thoughts, ideas, or pictures. Many times it's also a picture that comes with a thought. And that's where the suffering or the attachment to an illusion gives you the feeling that you are not enough, that it's always about some future or other event outside of this moment. But actually, there is only this. And in this moment, there's always this dynamic happening, just continuously changing, continuously moving. And that is where your freedom lies, to realize this, to see this, to experience this. Like, for example, where I had a session with someone, and in the session, the other person was closing his eyes. And when you close your eyes, then you can experience more of what is happening, of what you're feeling, of what is happening, instead of that the focus is to what you see, because the eyes are like the extension of your brain. So the eyes are all the time scanning and trying to cover your insecurity, to look for imperfections, because that's what the eyes do. It's just a dynamic. It's not personal, but that's what the eyes do. If you look at a perfectly painted white wall and there's some little spot on it, like a little dark spot, it is inevitable that your eyes will not see it. Your eyes will definitely notice that little dark spot, because that's what we have. We have this ability to notice things and to give it value. We can notice the spot without giving it value, but that's usually not what happens. Usually you see something, then you think like, oh, there's a spot, and that is kind of not good, or they should still do something about that little spot there, because it's not really white, no? Unless it's a piece of art and that is made on purpose. Then maybe you can understand, and then maybe you see the spot, but probably you will still have this effect that the thought rises, this is not perfect. So we're conditioned, tremendously, deeply conditioned, that everything should be perfect. But the thing is that everything is perishable. Everything will disappear. It will vanish. It will grow old. It will die. We will die. And right in this very moment, blood cells, bacteria in your intestines are dying. Anything is a continuous process, dynamic of life and death. There is not just perfect life. It's impossible. Actually, perfect life is the combination of life and death, and this continuous processing of whatever that's going on. And that is not just for our body, but it's for everything. My computer is getting older, it's getting slower, it's getting dirtier. The house I'm living in is also falling apart, in the sense that if you would look at it from now and from when it was built, then there's a big difference. It's changing. The earth, it's continuously in a transformation, which is incredible, and it's beautiful also. What do you think would happen if everything would last? We would be suffocated. If all our thoughts, all our creations, all our bodies, everything that came alive would still be here, gosh, it's horrible. There wouldn't be any more air to breathe. So everything is dying. Everything is living, being born. Everything's being eaten and being fed. So when you want to ask me questions or speak with me live, you can do this by writing to me here in the chat or you can write this to my Skype address, which is Ligi Live. Hi Mark, yes, I see your comment. I said next Thursday, which is this Thursday, right? That's what I mean, this Thursday. So this Thursday, not tomorrow, but the day after, I give a meeting here in Leiden. So if you want to be part of this, if you're in the neighborhood, if you are not in the neighborhood, then you can also join the 2 weekly Skype group session, which is in English, but I'm also planning to give one in Dutch. So the Dutch people that are not living in the neighborhood or that don't feel like coming all the way here, they can also join this. That's another thing that I'm planning to do. So just check it all out on my website, liehogenberg.nl. So when you're not able to hold on anything, then one of the things that are most important to remember is to feel compassion with yourself. Compassion with the patterns and the conditionings that you were given, that you took on while you grew up, while you were with a partner or in school or anything like that. And that it is not your fault of any of the things that you are holding on to or trying to hold on to or you're trying to get rid of. But to foster compassion for yourself because of that, because it's not your fault, because there's nothing that you could have prevented this from happening. It just happened, and now once you start to see that it is like this, and once you start to understand that this is the way it functions, that you feel like I can give this to myself. I can give the acceptance and the gentleness of, okay, I will try to allow myself to feel that I am not able to hold on anything. I am at the grace of life. And it's okay. It's okay. I am still okay, and actually I am still safe in this. Life is a continuous transformation. This day, today, is a transformation from the very moment when you wake up and you get out of your bed until the moment that you're going to sleep again and rest. And actually it's still a transformation even when you're sleeping. Your body is still digesting, rejuvenating, taking care of all the things that are needed in your body, even while you're sleeping. So it's a continuous transformation while you are aware of it or while you're not aware of it. And to realize this is a big gift, because then it's more like it could become more easy for you to accept the way things are, and to also to realize that nothing ever lasts. It's never ever the same. Not one day, not one moment is ever the same. It's just totally impossible. It's just not possible. The only thing that you might experience is the vulnerability, and also maybe some kind of feeling nakedness, the vulnerability, nakedness of being vulnerable, because it can be really scary when once you start to really surrender to the fact that you're not able to hold on to anything, that everything in your life comes and goes, and you are the one, the way you connect with yourself, the way you relate with yourself, whatever is happening with your body, how your relationship is with your physical body, with your energetic body, with your mind, with your thoughts, that relationship lasts. Everything else will come and go. It will come and go. It's beautiful because we are social beings. In essence, we're social beings. But we all have our different characters, and one person feels less need of really connecting with others, while others are maybe very active. But this can also depend on the way you are conditioned. It depends on many things, actually. But so it is always about possibilities that rise now. Now is a possibility to open your eyes. Now is a possibility to feel what you are experiencing. Now is a possibility to connect with others, to reach out, to share how you feel, to ask your questions. Now is a possibility to reflect. Now is a possibility to just realize your breath, where it is, how it feels, the fact that you're breathing. And when you tune into the surrender that life is okay, even though you might not see it or might not even believe it, you will go through a certain fire, the fire of surrender. This can be very challenging, because who else does this? Who else dares to go through the fire of surrender, of true acceptance, of exploring the fact that you are safe, even though you don't believe it. You don't believe it, but you started to believe all kinds of things that you were conditioned with, all kinds of concepts that you took on. So why not believe or open up to a new idea, the fact that you are safe even though you don't believe it, even though maybe you don't feel it. Because that's also what happens. Sometimes you just don't feel the things. And when you don't feel the things, it seems more difficult. But that's because there's layers and layers of conditioning, energetic blockages, physical traumas, emotional traumas, mental traumas. So it's layers and layers of things that maybe are in the way of experiencing what's actually happening. So it can be it can be a big process, which maybe you are going through, maybe not, I don't know. But it's an exploration, and it's usually the revealing of all these things can be very intense and pretty scary sometimes. It takes courage to wanting to, to have a look at this, to look at it, what is really going on, who am I truly beneath all these layers? Who are you? One of the things that is blocking the way you truly are is your self-image, the way you view yourself. And the way you view yourself is usually not the way you really view yourself. It's usually based on what others thought about you, the opinions of others, how family, partners, teachers responded to you, what you got back in certain situations. So the image, the self-image that you have is usually based on a lot of disturbed and blurred energy, based on fear, based on rejection, projection from others that have nothing to do with you. So what is your self-image? To discover this, to see, what do I feel? What do I really think about myself or feel about myself? Or how do I look at myself? Do I dare to look at myself? And if I dare to look at myself, what do I see? What is there? Is it scary? Is it painful? Does it make you feel sad? Does it make you feel desperate? Or do you feel gentle with yourself? Do you feel this acceptance? You can see through, even though you have your conditionings, even though you have experienced trauma or anything, you can still see your beauty. Because once you start to see, even though it's a tiny little light that shines upon you, the way you, as long as it is your view, then that is the opening to let go of all the other ideas that you are holding on to, that were like, forced upon you in a way. So self-inquiry and self-reflection about how you truly see yourself, the self-image that you have about yourself, is very, very valuable. It's valuable to do this. It's important to discover or to rediscover who you truly are and how you feel with this, whatever that is. Hello, Jan. Well, I don't know where that came from, but it's like that's the way it goes. It's just a continuous, instant, spontaneous communication. It's just coming. It's just coming in waves. Information, transmitting whatever wants to be transmitted, whatever comes out. I want to give also more information, but that's what I'm doing here now, to find a way for you to discover empowerment through self-compassion. Because we are very powerful. We are powerful beyond our limited ideas, our limited beliefs. We are creators. We're instant creators. The only thing that's limiting us is our thoughts, our ideas, our convictions that are usually not ours. And when you tune into your true, powerful, creative nature, then that is easier to let it exist and to let it rise. Gives more confidence and it helps you to support yourself. Because even when you realize that you are a creator, even though you realize that you are just this beautiful, being fascinated, that just likes to do whatever it likes to do, you still encounter challenges. One day is full of challenges. What happens if you are having difficulties to go to the toilet? I mean, it's a challenge, no? It's just a challenge. And many other things. What happens if I have pain in my throat and I can't speak very well? it's a challenge to speak. Then I have to change my behavior. Hi, Tom. Good to see you. I'm very good, thank you. Very good. Did you already check out my website? I think I sent you the link. I think I sent you the email, but maybe I didn't, but I thought I did. Anyway, I'm very good. I'm very inspired. I'm writing also, I'm actually editing the text for my book, which is a lot of work, And it's in English, so it's also a challenge there. But I do what I can. And I think, well, it's difficult to say, but I think somewhere beginning next year. I thought maybe the end of this year, but no, it's not going to happen. It's too much text that still has to be done. So definitely not the end this year, but beginning somewhere next year, maybe in springtime. I hope that I can say that there's a book that will be wonderful. It just takes commitment, which I'm very good at. I mean, once I start to do something, I'm really committed to do this. It just takes time. Jan says, "Why must life be full of challenges?" I don't think that life should be full of challenges, but it's just what happens, like I was just describing. I mean, this also may seem very easy, and now it is easy to me to do this live stream. But there's certain challenges. Technically, I mean, creating the right lighting. I mean, what's wrong with challenges? I like life to be some kind of challenge. I mean, if everything would be so easy and so fine, and everything would go like, oh, you don't have to even lift your arm because the robot in your kitchen is just cooking the meal for you. I mean, what the hell? No, that's not the kind of life I want. I want to be challenged, and also in conversations, or just, I mean, sometimes challenges are unpleasant, but challenges can also be really nice. It's good. It pushes you a little bit. It takes you maybe out of your comfort zone, which is good, because then you will grow and you will learn something new. And I believe that learning something new is keeping you alive, it's keeping you young, it's keeping you fresh. So that's why I always do many things that are new to me. So I learn something. Like, for example, I buy certain plants for the garden that I don't know exactly what kind of plants they are. But if I open myself to this possibility of getting to know these plants, what are their habits, what do they like, maybe I'll do some research so I get to know them a little bit better, and then I start to relate with them because I put them in the garden and I see them grow and I see them perish in autumn, and then I see them coming back again in spring, and then that's a beautiful kind of process. I learn from it and I'm fascinated about it. And it's also a challenge because maybe the plant will die, even though I care for it and I really looked at it like this is, yeah, this is new something that I want to learn. So, yeah, I think challenges are very essential, and especially very much essential to learn how to deal with them. It's just a different way of viewing at things. Just as much as there don't really exist problems. Thank you, Tom. You love my room? Yes, I feel I'm inspired but also restful. Yes. You have a new email. Okay, well, maybe you can send this to me and then I can send you also the link. Yes? Oh yeah, and Tom, if you want to join, not this week but the week after, Friday after that, I'll be giving group sessions on Skype every Friday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Dutch time. So if you want to join this, just check it out on the website. It's funny because I'm just looking at the screen of YouTube and it says the settings of the codings program, and that's just stuff that you don't need to know. But yeah, I can't give you any settings for reprogramming your codes, but you can investigate it. You can investigate new options of the pictures in your head. Because of the pictures in your head, you create life. You create a fantasy. And this fantasy is usually making you suffer. I'm not saying it's bad to fantasize. I think the imagination is a beautiful tool and a beautiful gift if you know how to use it. If you know how to use it really creatively, then it's a beautiful thing. Just a second. What is this? Okay, yeah. Mark wants to ask a question. I am now doing this. Okay, yeah, that's good, Mark. Let's try it. Hmm. Hello?
there's a big difference in timing. I already see.
Yeah?
Gee.
Gee? I don't see you. I see a smiley that goes like this.
Wow.
Oh yeah, you have to close the sound of the computer.
I just did.
Okay, great. That's the thing.
Okay, but you don't see me. Oh, I see why. That's better.
Oh yeah, hello. Wow.
So, you were saying about everything is in the now. There is no past and there is no future.
Yes.
But we are all conditioned with things from the past.
Yes.
And I don't think there's a way to ignore that.
No, I that's why I was saying that there is we have to deal with the conditioning every moment, every day. And parts of your conditioning are also no problem. They're actually pleasant for you. Maybe you were raised in a way that you think like going for a walk is good for me because that's always what your parents used to do. I mean, I'm just saying something. So that is also part of your conditioning. Like, for example, with me, I was raised in a little bit like how you say that, zuinig. Not cheap, but not very. We were not raised in the sense that very rich and like overdoing things. You know, yeah. There wasn't a lot of money because we were like with 3 children.
Oh, you were living on a budget.
On a budget, exactly. Yeah. My mom had to deal with the budget. So that's something that I got raised with. Some people respond to that conditioning like, oh, I'm going, I want to live fully and I want to, they want to change this, or so they're going to live in a very different way. But for me, it's okay. I mean, I make my own. I think it's not a bad thing, and I think it's also not a bad thing to also be open up for other ways. So that in that sense, you always relate to your conditioning. But it's not happening now. Whatever has been in the past is in the past.
That's true, but your conditioning makes you respond in a certain way.
Yeah, but that's only happening now.
That's happening now, but it's a reaction from the past. And that makes it so difficult sometimes.
Yeah, but that's why I say it's better to not think too much. More go to the feeling and just maybe just close your eyes. You're sitting there very comfortably, and to be more, to put your hand on your belly, or to feel, not to always literally take my words literally, but to more to see like this is an exploration. It's a possibility.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong.
All right. Thank you very much, dear.
Okay, Mark. Thank you for calling. It worked very well.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, have a wonderful evening.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye, Mark. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. That was Mark. That was nice. So that's working very well. I'm glad. I am glad to do that. Oh yeah, another idea I have is actually, and my telephone seems to remind me about it all the time. To speak once specifically about the concept like the non-duality and daily life. Oh, okay. Now Tom is calling. Hello? Hello, Tom.
Hi, how are you?
Hi. I'm very good. It's very dark there.
I know, I'm just thinking because I'm basically living in a cave like a Neanderthal man.
That's okay. I can see you. I can see you.
You know, we have like one light bulb and I don't know.
Well, it's a little bit. Yeah, that's wonderful. It's better than that you have to carry a torch and.
Yeah.
Is it already Christmas time?
Every day. It's always Christmas time, chez moi. Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry. Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. I just thought to jump on, and I don't know. You kind of just popped into my mind spontaneously, and then I remembered that you do a live stream on this day.
Yes. This day.
Yeah. I was just feeling that I'm kind of lacking. I don't know. Lacking warmth or a sense of. Yeah, I don't know. So as soon as I saw you in your room, it was like light for me,
Nice.
Yeah, it was. Well, I don't know. I'm a little bit in my head, I guess.
But is it that you feel like you're missing that warmth?
Yeah, because I don't really feel it here. And I was thinking that I subscribe to the idea that nothing can make me feel bad. It's something I'm toying with, but at the same time, I do think that a nice environment is helpful and it is nourishing and it is, I mean, I'm sure if I was in your room now, I would just probably melt into a relaxed state,
Yeah, but yeah, that's true. But also, when you just imagine this, even if it's not there now for you where you are, you can imagine this and connect with it within you or just the picture, and then you can also decide to create an environment for yourself that makes you feel this warmth that you in a way long or that you need in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's funny because we spoke about this already a couple of times, I think.
Yeah. Sorry. I don't know. It's just. That means it's obviously not really changing, is it? There's something that's not progressing, or it's taking a long time because I don't really have the energy to, I mean, even the thought of cleaning the house feels overwhelming, because I'm so mentally preoccupied, and I feel the effects of that in my body on a daily basis. And I mean, yeah. So, yeah. I don't know how people have the energy to do things, and maybe that's because my norm is to be kind of so low, to be so stressed all the time, and so burnt out. Am I rambling?
Well, what I feel is that thing is that you started with saying I what did you say? You said like I conditioned myself. No, I subscribe to the idea that I cannot have a bad environment.
Make me feel bad.
That you cannot feel bad.
That nothing outside of myself can make me feel anything.
Yeah, that's well, that's. I think what happens is actually when you subscribe to such an idea, which is something that apparently came up with you, the effect is the opposite.
Do you mean in the sense that I kind of absolve myself from responsibility of having to do anything to make my life?
No, the fact that you are thinking that nothing outside of you will make you feel bad is actually creating the situation, that the experience that you feel actually everything is making you feel not so good.
I don't really get that.
It's energetic. You're saying to yourself, I don't want anything outside of myself. You're putting a boundary, like this is the limit. I don't want anything outside of myself to make me feel bad, which is in a way a twist of the mind. It's an excuse to tell yourself, to convince yourself that nothing outside of you can make you feel bad. But the thing is, nothing outside of you does make you feel bad. It's what is happening inside of you that where you feel sensations, where you get the ideas about that you are not feeling bad or that you are not good, or that you are not productive, or that you have feeling burnout, or whatever kind of things, names that you give it to.
Yeah.
So you're reinforcing the idea, actually. You're putting energy to it.
To the idea that something can make me feel bad.
Yeah.
I'll probably have to watch this back.
Very, very, very heavy depression. And the thing what we did was we started to really clean and clear out stuff, literally, like cleaning the house, clearing out stuff that were dirty, and that actually just doing that, the action of it, the physical input and just being busy with that gave a whole new energy. Literally cleaning or clearing your environment is what gives new vibes. It cleans out literally the dirt, but also energetically. And because we all relate to everything around us, we relate to everything around us, and we reflect on, we identify with that. I mean, I can say that my room or the way I live is making me feel comfortable because I created it, and because to me this is a pleasant environment. Maybe to somebody else it isn't. Maybe to somebody else you would put different colors and different furniture. But to me this is an environment that I feel good with. So it's something that I relate to. It's something that I can identify to, in the sense that, yeah, this is kind of my vibe, my energy.
Yeah, I get the point on cleaning. I think what I have to do is I just have to start and just do something and then kind of build from there.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, yeah, and the thing is that, I mean, I would so much, it's so nice to help each other, and if I would be able to be doing this together with you, it would be more fun and probably much more lighter. But then we have to imagine something inside of us. I'm not alone in this, but I'm going to do it for myself. You know, I need this because I don't feel good with it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have your partner, and you have to also see what the other person needs, and you know. So when you're living together, it's probably different. But anyway, it is something that we, as human beings, we all relate to our environment.
Yeah. think that there's an element of almost reveling or enjoying neglecting myself. It's a strange thing, why would anyone enjoy that? But I don't know. I mean, I used to throw food out of the window. I'd finish something, like a banana, and I'd just throw it out of the bedroom window into the garden, and I used to enjoy doing such things. But I don't know. I feel sometimes that there's a kind of Peter Pan syndrome scenario going on, like not wanting to be an adult,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And it's not fun, actually, but...
No, it isn't. But it is maybe it's such a deep conditioning inside of you that is like a neglected, it's a kind of neglectance became and carelessness, like, oh, I don't care, I just throw it out of the window. It's also kind of dramatic, and it's also maybe you also imagine that you used to live in another timeline or another world, and then you go into that idea, and that maybe for a little moment, maybe just a few seconds, gives you this sensation of, I don't really care, I live in Wonderland or Neverland. And that's fun. But as you say, in the end, it's not really fun, because you're neglecting yourself. You're not taking yourself seriously.
Yeah, I know. I don't. I really don't. Even with my diet, I keep falling ill because I just, shall I eat today? Oh, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. And, then, I'm finding that sometimes I'm going for a nap in the day after having not eaten any breakfast, and I wake up at 3 p.m. absolutely delirious because I've not eaten anything, and kind of...
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's another element of that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want to force myself to... I don't know. I feel like I should just want to just make a change,
Yeah, but that wanting to make a change can sometimes be like you push yourself a little bit. Like it's a good start to yeah, for example, just clean out or clear out one room, and to do it thoroughly, because doing things thoroughly is also, it's actually showing that you care.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just looking at James walking around in his underwear.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's nice to see you anyway.
You too, Tom. It's sweet.
Yeah, I have been going through a really, really tough time, like feeling like really desperate, and so, but I spoke to a friend yesterday, and something kind of seemed to switch in my mind or slough off, and I'm not feeling as bad. So, yeah.
Yeah, I can tell that you went through a lot.
Yeah, from my energy. Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that you are connecting and that you're sharing your story.
Yeah.
Because I feel it's good for you.
It's also nice to experience, like I don't know how to say this, but like feminine concern for me, Yeah.
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 But the funny thing is that always when I see you, I see you also there. Like I think you are very caring. And the opposite behavior that you're putting out there, like, oh, I'm just throwing things out of the window and I don't give a fuck, or this carelessness and this, it's actually the opposite of what you're actually experiencing, is the fact that you do care. You care a lot. I feel that. So, but it's not about what others think, or or the way James sees you, or if he will love you more or less. But I think what happens is that you will start to love yourself more, and then that will also radiate on. It will give off on others.
Yeah.
Because I feel, yeah, it touches me. It touches my heart to see you this vulnerable, and you know, in the yeah, I see you, the struggle that you're going through.
Yeah. And I think that I'm really starved of pleasure. You know, being in this town, and it's like there's nothing really to lift me up. I mean, I'm going for a job interview on Saturday. It's going to be 10 hours a week, and that will be good. And we're going to Poland for 5 days at the end of November.
Nice.
Other than that, there's nothing on a daily basis, other than obviously interacting with James, to lift me up. And I feel that I need that upliftment to then give me the energy to then clean. Do you know, there's a kind of snowballing effect that, I mean,
yeah,
I don't know, and it's a difficult one when nobody's really concerned about me, obviously, other than James. Nobody's checking up on me, and really, and that can be, I think that's really hard.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah, I totally get it. I think it's very essential for you to, even if it's just for 10 hours a week, to go out somewhere, to do something, to be among other people. I mean, that's the same for me here, you know?
Yeah.
I don't want to be behind my computer all day, even if I speak with people like that on Skype. I also want to go out and meet others, to go somewhere else, some fresh air, some different environment. It's normal. It's very, very, very basic.
Yeah. I think that what happened with me, and I don't know if I've mentioned this before, and I know I've been talking for quite a while, so you can tell me if you need to go.
Yeah.
When I got into the non-dual stuff, I think I just kind of checked out of life, and I thought, well, I'm just not going to do anything. I'm just going to focus on this enlightenment stuff and fuck everything. And then I think that developed a really negative cycle that, in the end, I just couldn't get out of it, or it's taken a lot, you know. And I know you talk about embracing the practical side of life, and I think that that's really important, especially for seekers of truth or whatever, to not, you know, there are so many opportunities where I could have done something. I could have gotten therapy when I was living back in Heptonstall. I could have done some charity work, and I just didn't. And there's a part of me that feels extremely guilty about that, because maybe I wouldn't have ended up now how I am now. But then I don't know. That's a whole other story, you know. But
yeah, well, I think that you're right. That the non-duality concept. That's why I have very much difficulty with explaining from a mental perspective and about enlightenment and all that, because it is really about embracing life, your life, whatever is there, and also to see that we're dependent on each other. We are social beings, that we need interaction, even though it's just something very basic, something simple, like serving coffee to elderly, or cleaning, or gardening, or something. To me, doing something that is giving a sense of worth, or I don't know how to say this in English very well, but that you feel you are whatever it is that you are, or whatever it is that you're doing. It's giving a sense of self-worth, and that people appreciate you, and then you also appreciate yourself, or helping animals in a shelter or something like that. We need this contact. We need this interaction. And
I'm an extremely social person.
Exactly, I know. I mean, I've met you. I know you.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel that there's so much charge behind everything that I've been through over the past few years that it almost feels like an endless well. That sounds really dramatic, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And I almost don't know how I can move on in a way because I let myself go. You know, like how can I forgive myself for allowing myself to flout, you know,
Mm-hmm.
to just rock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what you are doing is you are already taking a big step because you're reaching out, you're connecting here. You know, there's nothing to be forgiven, sweet. Nothing needs to be forgiven. It's just the acceptance of how you feel, which is probably intense.
Yeah.
If you want, you can also connect with us, not next Friday, but the Friday afterwards. If you want to speak in a small group on the live stream, on the group session, which
Yeah,
which
okay.
will just be like 2, maybe 3 more others.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just feeling a bit overwhelmed.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah. I just think it's interesting how you were, we started off this call with me laughing and joking, and I think that it became obvious that you were picking up on something that I wasn't picking up on whatever the struggle, because I could see it in your facial expression, and I just think that's interesting, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Or you can see in a way what's going on for me, in a way that I'm kind of blind to it. I don't know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or maybe you just let it settle a bit.
Okay.
Because it's like you say, it's overwhelming, especially when there's kind of a blind spot or something that you have difficulty to see for yourself. And it's just good to take time to just let it settle, whatever it is that you're feeling. I think there's a lot of emotions also. Maybe it's good for you to let them come up, and if you allow yourself to just let them go, let them just flow, release them in whichever way. I don't know if you're able to do this, but it will be very good for you.
To let them come up.
Mm-hmm. And maybe even go for a walk or stroll just now, just by yourself, that you feel, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Bye, dear.
I'm gonna go.
Bye, dear. Bye, dear. Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye, bye. Okay. Thank you, Frank. Frank, you're very welcome, and it was a good, very good live streaming. And Tom's input was very valuable, I think. I don't think I saw you before here, but you're very welcome to connect more. I think you already heard that in 2 weeks I'll be giving a group Skype session. If you want to join for this, just check it out on my website. The details are there. And if you're living in Holland, you're welcome also to come to the Conscious Circus meetings that I organize here in Leiden. And that's also every 2 weeks. So thank you all for connecting here. I hope you like to connect more. You can do this every Tuesday night for free on this channel on the live stream. So see you. Bye bye.